Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here with a new tea company to talk about. And I've got it's a Chinese style, Taiwanese style, so I've got my more Chinese, Taiwanese styled equipment here. Gaiwan's, about a 3-ounce Gaiwan, scooping out enough here to cover roughly the bottom inch to inch and a half diameter. That looks pretty good. Water's been brought to an early boil. And with a nice gooseneck kettle like this, it's great for moving around, slowly pouring in to make sure that leaves get swept underneath the surface of the water. It also allows you to add just that little bit more, more easily, so that when you put your lid on, you get a little bit of water right above the rim there. Keeps the air out, allows the steeping to take place without the air changing the color of the liquor. So while that's taking place, talk about this tea and introduce it. This is from, I shouldn't put that down because I do need to talk about this tea from Tiger Road Tea. This is their Crane Monk Light Oolong. You can get a 25-gram sample currently for $8.99. That's just under $9 US here. And I'm going to talk about this tea, the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. Starting off here a little bit with the dry. Give it a smell. It's the aromas here are the fragrances that I get from, say, a Lishan and Alishan. So you get a bit of a sweet floral, a sweet pea flower. There's a little bit of something extra going on here. Something kind of almost lemon peel going on just underneath. It's just kind of a light pop going on underneath that main sweet floral. Again, sweet pea flower, a little bit of the English laurel flower. There's a sweet, small, sweet, light white colored flower you find on sometimes a shrub or hedge. You might get that aroma coming off there. Scooping out a few of these leaves, looking at them. These are large rolls. For in many cases, here's one that's, say, 1.5 inches in length. Another one, pretty thick, dense, larger size leaf. Although occasionally here and there is what little smaller pieces. Those are, at least in this spoonful, you get a couple here that look to be maybe one leaf, a portion of a leaf, versus those larger ones that were probably more than one. Actually, they may just kind of be 2 or 3 rolls that are just kind of clumped together, didn't loosen up quite a bit. But larger ones are going to be 2 leaves in a bud, probably, maybe a 3rd leaf in some cases. So we'll see. Color-wise, dark green, dark green blue, little spots here or there where it's moving even to a bit darker than that, but the main colors are from that kind of a dark green blue over towards a paler green yellow type of color there. So it's a lighter, brighter type of oolong. Not a lot of information about the origin of this particular leaf. So this looks to be more like a Taiwanese, say, again, Lishan, Alishan, something lighter oxidation that's taken place there. But maybe the wet leaf will tell us more, so I'm going to take my Gaiwan mostly by my middle finger and thumb for holding the bowl. Index finger holds the lid there and pours just like so. Shaking out any of those last few drops so that the leaves inside are not exposed to a lot of water, aren't sitting there steeping and stewing. Helps for subsequent steeps later on. I'm going to give this tea a smell and talk about the wet leaf, the aroma aspects here. Still dominant is that English laurel, a bit woody, a bit sweet sap, a bit of the white flower, the floral aspect there, the sweet pea flower there. A little bit of buttery, a little bit of butter flavor popcorn going on. The steam kind of tickles my nose. A slight, very light kind of beany type note, fresh lima bean maybe. But that was later, as the warmer notes wafted away, the lighter, gentler notes were the beany and the buttery, light, faint buttery. Pleasant smelling overall. Let me pull out a few of these leaves. I see some stems, which are usually going to be connected to leaves or a leaf or leaf sets, individual leaf in this case. So there were some individual leaves, a little bit of raggedness, a little bit of section of this leaf missing there. Tinges of oxidation on the edges of the leaves there, spots that are smaller spots that are darker in color, rust type of color. Leaf pair, leaf and looks like there was a bud there. It may have gotten rolled, crumbled off at some point. Again, a little bit rough edges here and there, blotches of oxidation on there too. So there's two leaves I've pulled out. Let me see what we have in terms of an individual leaf, fairly large. A little bit, got some thickness to it, got some toughness there, so it's not, it's got some flexibility. It's certainly not a rough leaf, but it's a bit thicker, a bit more durable when you have to do some of this rolling and processing that takes place with an oolong. So there's three leaves to look at there, or sets there. There's leaf or leaf sets there. So I'm going to get now into the liquor here. Get that swirl, get the steam off the sides of the pitcher. You hold that up to the light, you get a nice bright golden yellow. Golden yellow, maybe even a bit towards the green yellow kind of tinge there. Still the English laurel. A bit of sweet corn, again with a little bit of the butteriness that I noted in the wet leaf there. So there's a little bit of butteriness coming out here. So it's sweet, boiled corn. It's been lightly buttered. Underneath that English laurel, that sweet pea flower I mentioned before. So there's some nice fragrances going on there. Some nice aromas. Tasting here. We'll let this one cool. A lot of your Taiwanese oolongs tend to do better, tend to get a bit more pronounced in their character as the temperature drops. This initial, the elements, the flavor, the aromas were lighter. Still those similar English laurel type components. Still a bit of a light honey type of note there too. Texture is quite nice. It's not really astringent. It's got a rich, not quite, light. It's somewhere in the area between light broth and kind of a heavy, very heavy, thick mineral water. So it's got a viscosity to it. It's more than just, it's not thin watery. This is, like I said, got a thickness to it, a coating that's going on there. Still that corn element there. Again, that boiled corn coming off. So it's got some, again, the sweetness there of the boiled corn I just mentioned, which is, and then kind of on top of that is the sweet pea, the English laurel flower type of notes kind of that are above that, like I said. Texture-wise, rich, very dense mineral water, viscous mineral water. So it's got a nice thickness, a nice even, fairly durable coating. I still feel a coating going on, and it's kind of wrapped underneath my tongue with a slight kind of sourness is what I guess how I would describe that. A very gentle kind of tart bite under and towards the back of my tongue. Aftertaste, still holding on. Again, not intense, not too deep, but still there, still consistent, still hanging on, not dropping off, just very well sustained. Looking at this tea, as far as a high mountain, Alishan, Lishan, those types of teas go, this one's got a little bit thicker body. It's got a little bit more sourness to it than some of the others I've come across. Again, with nice aroma components, nice flavor components. Let me do this one more hit while it's because it's cooled off a little bit more. Yeah, especially that broth is really starting to pick up now. This is getting closer to more of a soup broth type of element there. So nice components. I would give this one. Where should I put this? I should put this in the neighborhood of 91. Nice components, especially if you have encountered high mountain oolongs before that you thought were just too soft, too delicate, too gentle. This is something that you might want that gives a little bit more punch to it. Something that's nice, warm, that still actually picks up in some characteristics as this tea drops off. So if you left it off to the side, you still have something worth coming back to later on. So come back to Walker Tea Review. Find out about those teas that you can set aside and be maybe pleasantly surprised with. You can subscribe to the newsletter so you get tea reviews like this delivered directly into your inbox. You can subscribe to the member content, which is a separate subscription. And the member content will give you articles on different aspects, the scientific research, tea people that I talk with, dialogues with tea professionals and tea experts, and all those things can be found at Walker Tea Review.